majority of people our age don't know how to cook. So let's talk about the
It's a
cooking
game
first.
changer in terms of saving time.
I don't like it.
Eat the frog. I was a D1 college athlete.
That's like the biggest hurdle for a lot of
Yeah.
people. Well, the money changes. That's what I'm
But,
saying.
I see, I see. It might be controversial, but
Oh my God. Welcome to Casual Conversations. I'm your host, Lawrence, and I have here a special guest.
my name is Damalare Oyetiva. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, it is our second time doing this, Dami.
Yes, sir.
The first time we did it, it was very nice. Beginnings of med school, just getting oriented and like getting the hang of things and how studying and the social life of med school has been. So now that you're a couple months in, let's see what the updates are now.
Yeah. Last time we did this, I was in scrubs.
Yeah.
So I think we were rushing to anatomy lab for then.
Mhm.
That feels like a while ago now. But yeah, it's been quite the roller coaster already.
Yeah.
But excited for the next couple of chapters, excited for how far
Yeah.
feels like we've come. But yeah, there are definitely a lot of highlights, some lowlights, and it's been a full first quarter or first half of the
Yeah.
first year.
Yeah. So we always have the sentiment that med school is hard, but then finding things outside of med school that, kind of revitalizes you and makes you feel whole again is really important. And so I noticed on social media, and I always got to commend people who do stuff like this, especially for you. You've always showcased your fitness aspect of your lifestyle and your cooking. And like a lot of the stuff that you cook, I feel like majority of people our age don't know how to cook. So let's talk about the cooking first. What what were like the growth aspects when it came to like developing your skill level in the kitchen?
Yeah, the cooking definitely stems back from like early days, like
Hmm.
young days back in the kitchen, like with my mom.
Yeah.
My mom and I are very close. So I feel like we spent a lot of time in the kitchen cooking together. So I feel like I just absorbed the cooking aspect. And since the senior year of college is when I've lived on my own, quote unquote. So that's when I've started cultivating the skill of, okay, like I need to feed myself.
Right.
I can't be buying food all the time. So I started actually cooking more for myself. And then I did a master's program, was also by myself. So I had my own kitchen. So I was experimenting in there.
Hmm.
And now, of course, I'm living by myself as well. So I need to cook.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think cooking is not even like any type of like a special skill. If anything, it's like an essential skill.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just like eating is.
Uh-huh.
So it makes sense that cooking is also an essential skill. But for me personally, something that I find like just tranquility and just like, okay, my hands are doing most of my hands are the ones doing things. My mind is kind of off, and we're cooking. So
Yeah. So I always like to look into what makes people, be able to get through med school or get through life. And early on, a couple videos ago, you showed yourself meal prepping, right? How have you felt that that has helped you as a life skill or through medical school?
yeah, meal prepping is just as it sounds. Um, it's a game changer in terms of saving time, and it can vary based on what you like to do or what you
Mhm.
like to eat. But for me, I'm okay with the just sort of eating the same things because I
Yeah.
love the foods that I cook, so I don't mind eating it over and over and
Yeah,
over
exactly.
again. So when you can cook in bulk like I do on a Sunday,
Mhm.
you make a big pot of something that's your protein, a big pot of something that's your carbs, pot of something that's your mixed vegetables. You can mix and match for lunch and dinner. Breakfast is usually actually, I have eggs,
Yeah.
so I can get like a pack of 60 or something,
Uh-huh.
and that lasts me for a while. But yeah, I think meal prepping saves a lot of time. It saves a lot of thinking energy
Mhm.
because having to plan every meal in real time also takes a lot of time.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's been a really nice game changer.
Yeah. And so what I've learned about you is that you have a pretty well-defined structure to the way you approach things, from meal prepping to the way you study and like to create your routine, right? And so tell me a little bit about, like how did you first define that structure? Because in medical school or like before medical school, like for example, for me, it was a little difficult to set a specific routine that would work for me. And so, how did you figure that out earlier on, and how has your like determination to keep it going been for you?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, thank you for saying that. Like feeling that I'm structured day to day. It doesn't always feel as structured like
Right.
in real time. But there's definitely like a template
Yeah.
that I try to follow through with, and that template often starts with like eat the frog. like Eat the
Mm,
Frog. I don't know, this it's a book as well, but the idea behind Eat the Frog is you do the hardest thing first.
right. Okay.
And for me, the hardest thing is like getting through my Anki reviews.
Yeah.
So that usually is like, crack of dawn, even before the sun is up, we're cranking away at the cards,
Hmm.
we're reviewing things. That way, like in the morning, I feel accomplished already. So
Right.
everything feels like a landslide from there on.
Okay.
So that is definitely the priority in terms of like do the hardest thing first,
Hmm.
and then everything else sort of falls in place.
Okay. I mean, yeah. No, that actually makes a lot of sense, especially with earlier on during the day. That's when you have the most energy.
Mhm.
Okay. I feel like you gotta sell me on this Anki thing. I've tried Anki and honestly I don't like it. And I haven't been I think I don't like it because I haven't been able to really stick to it. And
Mm,
so like if you're like a student, how do you sell Anki? Because I understand the idea of spaced repetition,
mhm.
but it just doesn't work. So how do you sell it?
I will say the user interface is it's a little bit mind-boggling. The way it looks
Hmm.
is repulsive to a lot of people.
Right.
Like getting just the basic skill set to be able to put things in place to help you and tailor it to your learning style
Hmm.
is hard. So there's like that UI interface gap that I think needs to be bridged from like a developer perspective.
Right.
Um, but the idea behind it is it's literally flashcards. I think you can go back 20, 30, 40 years ago. People used to use paper flashcards
Yeah.
to review concepts quickly,
Hmm.
right? You had a stack of 100 flashcards, you're reviewing 100 perhaps separate different concepts. It's the
Yeah.
same idea behind it. However, what separates, well, yeah, I love flashcards. I like doing it from
Hmm.
like Anki, and the notoriety it's gotten is that okay, it becomes like excessive. It's
Hmm.
like if you start to compare yourself with people, you're like, oh, you did 500 cars today. Oh, you did 1,000 cars today. Oh,
Mm.
you did two. Oh, you're balling. Like
Yeah.
you're doing thousands of cards. So there's that aspect because there's a numerical number to how much you're studying.
Mhm.
It allows competition to seep in a way that might seem, just maladaptive. But I don't feel like I need to sell Anki to anyone, honestly, because
Mhm.
it has to be like a self-directed effort
Yeah.
to use it based on the results you're seeing. If you're not seeing results, I think it's fine to pivot.
Yeah.
Um, and if you are seeing results, that's when you start to dig in deeper. And I
Yeah.
saw the results, so I kept doing it.
Okay, perfect. Perfectly well said. And speaking of pivots, what I like to do here with this podcast is showcase how medical students and physicians and people within the professional careers, how we're just normal people. We like to do things. You enjoy anything and how relatable we can be, right? And so I see that your experience with the gym, something that a lot of people try to get into, right?
Hmm.
And then you also have a busy medical school schedule. So it seems like you don't make excuses, right? That's what I'm getting. Like you can find a way to balance a rigorous schedule with making time for things that develop you physically, right?
Hmm.
And so what's your go-to workout routine?
Uh, I don't make excuses, you said? Huh. Yeah. I I want to address the workout routine question,
Yeah.
but just like leading up to that, I feel like it's important to talk about like, well, how did I get into the gym? It's not like I
Yeah.
was born and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in the gym.
Right.
No, it's almost like there's a sequence of events that leads anyone really to finding themselves working out a number of times a day.
Hmm.
For me, that started with college athletics. So I was a D1 college athlete in college. I did
Hmm.
track and field. I was a thrower. So as
Yeah.
a thrower, I might not look it now, but like I was a little bit bigger. I needed
Hmm.
just that raw strength. So I was
Yeah.
doing power cleans, deadlifts, benches in college just to compete with the bigger D1 guys. So the culture of lifting and the culture of like working out was ingrained in me for 4 years.
Hmm.
So just by virtue of that, it's hard to give that up.
Right.
Like I feel like something is missing when I'm not working out. So
Hmm.
that's where I'm at now, currently in my fitness journey, which like I've done something so often for so long that it feels odd to not do it.
Right.
Over time, I think my passion and my reasons for going to the gym will evolve.
Hmm.
Um, Probably evolve into like just wanting to be fit.
Hmm.
I want my lung health to be good, just physical health and wellness. But right now it's just more of like I've done this for so long, I feel odd when I don't do it, and I can tell when I've not worked out.
Yeah.
And now to the question of like what's your go-to routine, it's changed. It's definitely evolved in med school because now I'm not doing those like actually demanding heavy lifting and like the power cleans and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Now I'm just doing things to stay toned.
Right. Right.
Like
Okay.
I'm just trying to stay toned, keep my abs, um, and be able to compete in basketball.
Hmm.
So I know I said I did track and field in college, but now one of my more recreational, like cardio intensive activities is basketball. And for that, you need to be able to like jump,
Hmm.
run for a longer period of time. So I need a little
Yeah.
bit more cardio. So in addition to like the core lifts like a deadlift or a squat or an incline bench, I'm running a lot more, doing a lot more like hill sprints on a treadmill, not out in this cold, in this cold.
Yeah.
Doing just a lot more things to build that explosive power for longer.
Okay, that's good. Part of my routine also is what you said is true. The pathway to getting into the gym and getting into exercising, that's like the biggest hurdle for a lot of
Yeah.
people, especially like, with the New Year's, everyone wants to try to get into exercising and then kind of fall off a couple weeks later. And so I think the most important part is showing up,
Hmm.
because like once you show up, you don't need to know exactly what to do or how to do it, but the fact that you're actually there, your brain for some reason is just going to figure things out. You're going to look at some person and see what they're doing and then say, okay, let me try to copy that movement. And
Exactly. Yeah.
eventually you're going to find yourself either enjoying it or not enjoying it, but then you say, okay, it's not as bad as I thought, right? And so you're going to put a little bit more effort into wanting to go to the gym. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I think the journey is very important when it comes to physical exercise.
Big time.
Yeah, in your health. And so I think a part of some things that I uh, think that you carry yourself very well within medical school, and people notice. And what I've talked about is when you do hard things, people notice when you're doing hard things, right? And so how do you think you've been able to manage like posting on social media with your medical school journey?
Yeah, I think I've added it to the routine, if
Yeah.
I'm being honest with you. Right now, the content I post is very well, it slides into the routine
Hmm.
at a very specific time.
Right.
For me, it's just a day in the life, and I do that in that like 20 to 70-second window I have before leaving my house.
Mm,
So
okay.
quite literally, as I'm like, okay, my keys, my bag, my laptop, everything's set. I have my camera set up at a specific spot. I'm like, okay, just set up your phone. And it's also more like a mental check-in for me as well. Like, okay,
Hmm.
this is what I have to do today.
Yeah.
Um, so it fits nicely into the routine. And then, if I have a little bit of time, usually just in the bathroom or something during the day, I'm able to just edit,
Hmm.
post.
Yeah.
So the content that I put out now slides in very nicely into my existing schedule. And it's not like I'm doing anything outside of my schedule in a way. I'm just talking about the things that are happening in my life as a med student.
Yeah.
And then over time, as I try to expand that, I think gradually adding little bits and pieces. Now I've started to add more gym content. So
Yeah.
now I'm setting up the camera while I'm in the gym.
Hmm.
That takes a little bit more time and
Yeah.
effort to actually put something quality out there that's beneficial for an audience. But I think it's time worth, well spent.
Hmm.
So right now it fits nicely, and I think over time as the clinical schedule becomes a lot more demanding, I'll start to think about innovative ways to stay consistent with that.
Yeah. Perfect. I say that regardless of what you do, I think it's important. Um, I wouldn't say everyone should do it, but I think it is valuable seeing medical students being able to present themselves on social media because one, people can relate to you more often, but then two, there's somebody who's trying to get to where you're going, right? And if they see you online,
Hmm.
they'll say, "Wow, this young man, he's doing something that I really want to do."
Sure.
And it kind of like puts like a face to it gives them a sense of something to work towards because they see someone who's doing something that they want to achieve and then they finally see themselves being able to do it themselves,
No,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, and
That is, I'm sorry, that's such a huge component. Like right before this session, I recorded a video that's a reaction to another creator basically saying, "Don't ask me for MCAT advice." Like, even though I'm in med school, like,
yeah.
don't ask me.
Mhm.
And I saw it as like this is quite the opposite of why I started this channel in a way.
Yeah.
Like, it's really to give students who might feel like they are lacking the information, lacking the point of contact
Mhm.
to where they want to go. it's not like nobody gets here by themselves.
Right.
So that's such an understated thing. Like somebody somewhere helped you get to where you are, in a way. So I felt like, well, for me, that's main one of the main reasons why I'm posting. It's like you need to, or I feel the need to help another student along the way,
Yeah.
even though I'm still trying to get to where I want to get to, you know, for MCAT stuff or like for application things that I've gone through, I can
Hmm.
still give some quality advice for students who feel that they need that.
Yeah, exactly. And also, you don't know who's watching. Sometimes I look at my analytics and I see like tens of thousands of people. And within those groups of people, there's many opportunities that doors can be opened based on the types of videos that you produce. And
Oh,
so, like, I definitely will always say to you, like, just keep going, keep pushing with the videos, you know?
you know what's crazy? This is like breaking news. I don't know when this segment will come out,
Yeah.
but it's odd that like my very little channel, very little audience has gained the attention of perhaps one of the biggest pre-med podcasters.
Oh,
That I
really?
got invited to one of his episodes. I don't know if
Hmm.
you're familiar with Dr. Ryan Gray.
He
Um,
did he does like
the
med school
pre-med years,
application.
like pre-med years. I think
Oh, okay, okay.
if you search him up,
Yeah.
Dr. Ryan, I believe that's his name. Yes, the pre-med. Like I watched those podcasts while
Uh-huh.
I was in college and
Right.
doing my master's. It's like it's surreal
Yeah.
that that episode is dropping soon. So stay tuned. That episode will be dropping soon.
Oh, that's nice. Congratulations on
Thank you,
yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
So like, yeah, definitely always keep going. Because a part of this is you're building yourself as a future physician and you're also building yourself as an individual. There are things that you'll be able to stand on and use as leverage for your future, especially like if you can speak to a large group of people. I think that's something very powerful because a lot of our patients or future patients are going to be online. And what I've talked about before is you as a physician with so many factors affecting people's lives long before they see you, you're kind of playing catch up.
Mhm.
You're understanding their entire history and everything about them. And so I think being able to meet them online, which is where they try to go to seek their medical advice, because we understand Dr. Google and people, they try to want to figure out what's going on with them before they see a physician. So if you could
Absolutely.
present factual information with certain healthcare topics, it's very valuable to the community because we know like certain people talk about Tylenol and all these other things that's not factual. And so it's just really important as a medical student. The platform that you're building is very powerful.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Yeah. One of our classmates during today's session asked a very poignant question to one of the speakers. He asked, "How do you become a better communicator? How do you
Hmm.
become a better storyteller?" And that's a skill that's like a day by day,
Yeah.
sentence by sentence, person by person, conversation by conversation. That skill of storytelling
Hmm.
is so essential, but it's a skill nonetheless. Like it's not like you were born
Right.
with this natural ability to speak to people and not feel, feel shy or feel like, oh, is my voice cracking? Am I saying ums or buts? Or
Hmm.
it's a skill that requires practice. And I really love that he asked that question because it gave me a little bit of insight as to how to become a better storyteller.
Yeah. And I say, so here's a question for you.
Mhm.
Your platform as it continues to grow and it gets exponentially large, what do you want to do? Like what kind of impact do you want to make? Because some people you get as like the brands start coming in, you could pay off your student loans
Mhm.
and you could pretty much make more than what physicians make to an extent or more than what residents make, right? And so like what do you see yourself doing once that opportunity starts to present itself?
Wait, are you asking, am I gonna stop med school
No,
if I
no,
blow
no,
up?
no, no. I'm gonna say like, will the money change you? That's
Will
what
the
I'm
money
saying.
I see, I see. Good question. Will the
Yeah,
money change me?
yeah.
Absolutely. No, I'm joking. No, 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 no. Even now, I feel like there's I don't know how much more money is gonna like what difference that's gonna make in a
Yeah.
way. It's less definitely less for the money, more for the impact.
Right. Yeah.
If I'm be like truly honest to my core, like the foundation on which my TikTok is built on right now is 50 days of MCAT studying.
Right.
So if a student were to scroll far enough, you would see that really the reason I made this channel was for, helping students realize that to get from point A to B with the MCAT, improving and studying and getting the score that you want, it
Hmm.
requires time,
Yeah.
right? You need to chip at it every day. So not only was that a reminder to myself, I felt like it was necessary to put that in the world. So um, no, the money will not change me. I do appreciate, and I would invite the money to come.
Yeah.
But I think helping reach students wherever they might be, um, to essentially just bridge that knowledge gap.
Hmm.
Because I feel like yes, everyone has everyone like it seems like everyone around you just knows what they're doing. Everyone's just like they know what they're doing, but
Right.
it's like nobody just like gets this information airdropped into their head.
Yeah.
Somebody is helping everyone at some point. So that's what I hope to be. I just hope to be a little, a little helper
Hmm.
along the way.
Yeah. And perfect. What you said was it takes day by day. Like all this information doesn't come to you immediately. It takes a little bit of practice, especially like with the MCAT.
Hmm.
And so for me, what I like to do within medical school is sometimes I think about times when things were tough, right? And it's so common and easy for people to not talk about the difficulties that they're experiencing, especially academically, right? And I understand why. Even though our class isn't like things aren't graded, it's like pass fail. We're
Hmm.
still ranked nonetheless, right? And then we're ranked globally with other medical students. And so, like, what advice would you give to somebody who, like, they're in med school or they're on a path and things just aren't connecting properly? Like, academically, things are just not going their way, and they're trying, but they haven't seen the best results.
Yeah, I can definitely understand the wanting like the feeling of wanting to just keep it to myself. Like
Yeah,
I'm just gonna, I can't complain. I can't I can't show that I'm struggling. I have to, save face in a way.
yeah,
Like I can't like be the only person struggling like in a class of like, super geniuses, which is what our mind oftentimes goes to, but that's rarely the case.
hmm,
Nobody struggles in isolation.
yeah,
If one person is struggling to understand this concept, I promise you somebody else is also struggling to
yeah,
understand that concept. It's probably more than two people struggling to understand that concept. Um, I think that like it's necessary to show or ask for help.
hmm,
How you go about it in med school is a little bit challenging because, yes, we have an academic specialist, and yes, we have our advising deans. Um, but like these are people who feel like they're at the other side. They're not experiencing what you're experiencing. They're not
yeah,
the ones taking the tests for you or with you.
hmm,
And oftentimes, sometimes they haven't like had the experience of taking the style of exams that we're taking in a way. So that's where I think like peer to peer like mentorship comes into play.
right,
Because when I'm struggling on renal, for example, about something like I I'm inclined to just like text someone like, oh, what are you doing for this? Is
hmm,
there a specific practice question you're doing? Like, how are you understanding this concept?
right,
Um, and I will be honest, like oftentimes I just struggle through it on my own, and that's something I need to get better at.
mm, okay,
Asking for help in real time
yeah,
rather than just like struggling through it, knowing that I could have just asked for help and
yeah,
that would have been better. So it's a challenge because like we're in a class where it might seem like, everyone's friendly, everyone's like, but at the end of the day, this is a class of like sharks in a way. You don't want to bleed around sharks. It
yeah,
feels like you're like, you're gonna get eaten in a
yeah,
way. Especially because we are getting ranked. Come clinicals, come like step two, when we're in the wards, like
hmm,
there's quite literally comparison between this student versus this student to get one position.
right,
So asking for help nonetheless from people you trust and are your peers, I
yeah.
think is the way to go.
Yeah, I completely agree, and that's the unfortunate reality of medicine, where the tendency to hide
Mhm.
failure or hide difficulties is very prevalent. And I think as I move further along and get older, I realize like failure is a part of a journey. Failure is an experience, but not your identity,
Mhm.
right? And so I think it's really important to understand that overcoming failure, like if you're able to overcome the failure, it's just as important as just succeeding the first time, right? Because now you have a story to tell. Now you have experiences to share with people, wisdom that you may have not have gotten if you done it right the first time, because
Yeah,
you had to adapt and figure things out. So now you can connect to different learning styles or different groups of people. And
exactly.
so I understand like the whole sentiment of you don't want to showcase that you're struggling in front of people, because now they can use it as leverage against you. But I try to see how I could be of help to people, whoever does need help. And like I'm even talking directly to anyone who's listening, right? Because my thing is, becoming a physician is already difficult. There's no reason to make it more difficult for someone else if they feel like they can't reach out to you for help, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah. I feel like as we're coming to an end of the year, right? You're developing a learning style that you may have not had coming in the first day, right?
Hmm.
And so if you were to talk to yourself a couple months ago, what improvements do you feel like you didn't know back then that you know now?
Mm, that's literally like one of the things that I do right now, just like on paper.
Hmm.
I have a progress tracker in terms of like what went wrong,
Yeah.
what did I do well, how to improve, like exam by exam.
Yeah.
The moment I start to see I'm trending downwards, I'm like, okay, I need to reassess
Hmm.
what did I do differently, um, and then how can I improve. So if I were to talk to my younger self, I'm gonna say maybe like a year. I feel like a couple months ago, I'm still using a lot of the same skills that um, worked a couple months ago, but I'm gonna
Right.
go back to like let's say closer to a year ago.
Hmm.
Um, you know, get to practice questions, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And there's so much like learning the content and watching the videos and doing the flashcards and like talking about the concepts. Like get to testing yourself in real time
Hmm.
under the real simulate I like as close to test conditions as possible. Just get to questions.
Right.
In the beginning, perhaps while you're doing your flashcards and getting accustomed with getting a grip on the content, you want to develop a way to think about a vignette,
Hmm.
right? Maybe then you can start like slowly doing the question. Like, for me, I would start with, I need 50 new cards. I do those, and then I'm straight to questions. And the questions might take a lot longer than it would take on an exam,
Right.
but I'm intentionally trying to develop a way to think about a question, see the patterns, see like what can I immediately eliminate from my options,
Hmm.
just start to develop that framework of thinking. So if I had to give myself advice from the past, it's like, you know, don't shy away from doing the hard thing, which is the questions,
Yeah.
because the questions will tell you where you are. They don't care how you feel about the content. You can feel great about the content and still get a 30% on U world,
Yeah.
right? So it doesn't matter like you took, a week to get accustomed to the questions and still got 30%, or you took a day and still got 30%.
Mm.
It's like getting to the questions, seeing what you didn't know, and seeing how the questions were framed just expedites that like uncomfortable process because
Yeah.
it's uncomfortable regardless of how long it takes you to get there.
Yeah,
So
that's so true. Like even some of the questions, I'm like, I swore I understood the concept, and I
true.
read the question, and I have no idea what's going on.
Exactly. So it's like the quicker I can realize that I don't actually understand what I thought I understood,
Yeah,
I can then move on to other things because
yeah,
then I'm like, okay, I get it from the perspective of how it's tested and
hmm,
maybe some clinical things as well. But right now, unfortunately, tests really matter.
yeah,
So getting to those questions, I think, is what I would, it's that's priority.
yeah. Definitely, definitely putting in those reps beforehand because
Mhm.
you don't want to show up and then realize, okay,
You didn't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and you weren't prepared as best as you could. So like those, getting those reps in is very important. We're moving a little closer to summertime, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So are there anything that you've picked up or you wanted to pick up over the past couple months, but you couldn't because academics were kind of rigorous?
So things that I would like to do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an excellent question. I think I would love to see my family a lot more.
Okay.
My mom's siblings, everyone is far away right now. Um, so like I think just having that time to just just go back home
Yeah.
for a while. That's like top of my list in a way
Uh-huh.
because I can't just take off for the weekend because
Mm,
I would be spending more time on the road or on a plane
yeah.
than I would actually be spending with them just going back and forth.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it doesn't make sense right now. But yeah, that's definitely top of the list. Um,
Wait, you went to Columbia for your master's?
yes.
And so where are you like from?
So I'm from the city, but
Okay,
right
yeah.
now my family is in Virginia.
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
they
okay.
moved out of the city a while back, so
Okay.
that's where they are. But yes, I did go
Oh,
to
because you
Columbia.
lived alone in the city.
Yes, I did.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes, well, like I'm from Jersey, so it's like 4 hours. If I miss the train, it's probably like 5 hours just to get home, kind of thing, right? But yeah, especially like the travel time does take up a lot
Yeah.
of your time. So sometimes I'll say to myself, okay, I'll just go home to see my family, and then I'll study on the train. I do not study on the train.
I don't that I've never even tried. I'm just
Yeah,
like my train ride just to sleep or
yeah,
watch something,
yeah.
watch some anime or something. I don't know if you watch anime.
I do. I'm actually trying to get back into it. I was talking to Sam about it before, but there are some really good ones that I've just never touched. Like even Attack on Titan, I've tried to get through the
That is
entire thing.
sacrilegious. Oh my god.
I got to the final season and then I just never finished it.
Wait, you got all the way to the end
Yeah,
and
yeah.
didn't finish?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it was like before starting med school. I was
Uh-huh.
trying to watch it during the summer, but then I was just like, I don't know, because I literally restarted the entire thing to watch the whole show over again, but then I just never finished.
I don't know how to feel about that, man. But yeah, I think definitely like Attack on Titan. That's one of those very. It's like it's a corner piece. It's or
Yeah.
centerpiece, really. I feel,
Hmm.
um, in just storytelling, visuals,
Yeah.
animation, just like the idea behind it, like who comes up with this type of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, there you definitely should watch the last season because everything makes sense. Like if you get to like point dots of connection back to
Yeah. Yeah.
different time points,
Hmm.
I think that show does it so perfectly.
Yeah. It's
Um,
crazy how it just intertwines other parts of the story
mhm,
that, yeah, like figuring out who's the enemy and like what's really
exactly.
going on, and if Aaron is like the protagonist or if he's like the
who
bad
who
character.
is the enemy
Yeah.
truly?
Yeah.
So it was it's one of those big ones. Another one right now that's hot is JJK Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yes. Yes. I
Um,
have not seen it.
oh, I mean, you're in for a treat,
Yeah.
really, because I go back and watch season one and
Hmm.
season two over again just so I can get to season three, and then I go back and watch the Zero movie,
Mm.
because like I want the feeling of when I first watched it again. It's one of those like really nostalgic films, even or shows, even though it's only been out for a little while.
Right.
But yeah, JJK definitely a must watch. Um, I don't know if you watch like My Hero or
I've seen it. I I think they completed the entire thing.
They did, but
Yeah.
there's more coming out, I
Okay.
believe.
Okay.
I think there's a new season coming out.
Mm.
Definitely fact check me on that. Not
Okay.
quite sure, but yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've seen like the clips of them beating All for One or something like that. Yeah, and I forgot his
Is it all
name.
for one or one for all? Shoot. So the
All
villain,
for One. I think that's the
all,
villain.
all for one,
Yeah,
yes,
One for All is
is
the
the
yeah, yeah,
protagonist. I
yeah.
got it, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, I've seen that and like the different elevations of character development and finding out new quirks and new powers and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
I'm definitely I need to create like a list. I need to
Yeah.
create a list
No,
of different
absolutely.
animes that I need to watch.
Absolutely. Add My Hero to the list.
Yeah.
JJK, add like Devil May Cry,
Mm.
add blanking on a couple. Add Bleach to it.
Okay, yeah.
Add um there's a ton.
You
There's a
haven't said
ton.
One Piece. Is it
No, I
One
didn't
Piece
watch
8?
One Piece. I
Yeah.
think I got into the game too late, and then
Uh-huh.
when I went back, it was just too much filler, and I couldn't
Oh,
handle it.
okay, yeah.
So, but people do say it's the this might be controversial. I watched the live action remake,
Uh-huh.
and I
Oh,
actually
okay, yeah.
appreciated that a lot more than the actual animation. That might be
Yeah, that
controversial.
probably is
It might
controversial.
be
Yeah.
controversial, but for someone getting into the anime at a later stage, it
Right.
just feels like I'm wasting time
Mm,
watching,
mhm.
people power up for a whole episode.
Yeah.
That's how I also felt about like Dragon Ball Z and all that.
Oh,
It's
okay,
like
okay, okay.
just like get to the fighting. That's
Yeah.
that's kind of why I'm here.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
get to the action scene. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I can also appreciate like, having these hobbies where you can just enjoy things that the general public enjoys, right? And
Hmm.
so it goes to show like med students, normal people, physicians,
I
normal
agree.
people. And sometimes it's hard to even find them within your community because most people most people's experience with them is just whenever they need like whenever they're in a hospital or going to see their primary care physician. But you come to find out so and so who lives down the street, that's a doctor right there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not really known too much. And so previously what we talked about was impact, the impact that you can make as a physician. And I think having people within your community know that you're a physician, because that's like a really big I think that's like a really big deal, a point where people who are reluctant to seek healthcare, my neighbor is a physician, and you can like guide them into like I think it's important that you seek that healthcare service rather than, oh, I don't know a doctor, and what I've heard that they're pretty bad.
Hmm.
And so like you can really make an impact in that way. So from the last time we talked about impact as a physician, have you have you made like further steps towards making those kinds of impacts?
I think the getting to know people and get to connect with people
Hmm.
on a human level before their perception of you is colored by the identity of a med student or a
Yeah.
physician is so critical.
Right.
Like I go to a barbershop on Central Ave, and I've been going there since I've ever been to Albany.
Hmm.
And one time I think I randomly went in with scrubs or something. Oh yeah, you work at the hospital?
Hmm.
Um, and then we started to talk about like what I do. And then I said like, yeah, I'm like a med student. I'm trying to be a doctor, like a doctor.
Yeah.
Um, in a way, it's like they knew me from like or my barber at least definitely knew me from like a human perspective first.
Right.
We would chat about boxing, watching the last AJ fight or just random things before he kind of got to know me from like this other perspective, which is what I think is very necessary. And that's the type of impact I'm trying to have in a way
Yeah.
where it's like your perception of who I am, your perception of what I do, or my character is not colored by the general perception of med students or the general perception of physicians or surgeons. It's like we are all people outside of what we do,
Hmm.
even before we came here. Like we were doing something.
Yeah.
So that's also a challenge in a way of like trying not to lose who I am, trying not to lose like the things that are centerpieces to my identity
Hmm.
through this very grueling education process is necessary. So, holding on to those habits, holding on to those hobbies, and then using that as your launching point
Hmm.
to like talking like those are the point of connections we have with people. Not like, oh yeah, I'm a med student and like, yeah, that's what I do. I can help you, like cure your disease or something.
Yeah.
Um, and that even builds into like the patient-centered care approach in a way where we're trying to connect with our patient and then be collaborative in the care process.
Hmm.
I think bridging that gap on a human level first before layering it on, with the power dynamic of like your physician, your patient, or a med student patient, things like that. So yeah, I think that's the type of impact that's long lasting because getting to know who a person is
Hmm.
outside of their job or outside of like their profession in a way, you can connect with them better.
Yeah, exactly. Well put. Especially the reaction with the barber saying, "Oh, just finding out that you're within the healthcare system." Like sometimes they might not have seen a physician in quite some time, and
Yeah,
this is like foreign to them. And so, like, you're going into their environment with them not knowing that you were already within the healthcare system. So, yeah, there's a lot of impact that could be made. I know, especially like with SNMA preparing for the health fair
hmm,
and seeing the people within the Albany community who sometimes it's like they haven't seen a provider in years, maybe even decades, and we hear about those stories, and so it just goes to show meeting people where they at, where they are, and meeting them as humans is really like invaluable.
absolutely.
So yeah, yeah, that's great. I haven't been to a barbershop since like 2019.
Whoa.
Yeah, I haven't been to a barbershop since 2019. So I started even cutting my own hair, uh, like in college, because my brother we we were in Ithaca, and like sometimes finding a quality like black barber is
So
hard. Yeah, it's
yeah, I mean, I use an app called The Cut. Not
uh
sponsored or anything. Feel
yeah.
free to sponsor if you'd like, but the app helps you you know pick and choose. It's
Mhm.
like you're shopping, which is you're shopping for a service,
Yeah.
and the barbers who understand that the customer wants to see what their outcome can look like, they put
Mhm.
up good pictures, and
Mhm.
you're able to flip through. So my current barber he's Haitian.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell he was Haitian. I thought he was Dominican just based on the way he was presenting. But yeah, I'll give him. I would recommend him
Yeah.
honestly. Um, I know we had a conversation about this before starting,
Uh-huh.
in terms of like enhancements and things like that. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, the app helps you find people in the area that can, you know, service based on what you like.
Yeah. So that was like a skill that I wanted to develop like back in college. And you had the days where you try to cut your own hair on a weekend and yeah, you're never showing your hair for the rest of that week.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like trying to bridge this to like a professionalism image standpoint, like especially as black men in medicine,
Hmm.
it's like that's a gamble. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like
Yeah.
I can't imagine I mess up my hair,
Uh-huh.
and just even personally, like I don't. I would have a hat on right now,
Yeah.
frankly, if I were to try to cut my own hair because just it's hard. Um, but yeah, I think I just feel better when I feel like I had
Yeah.
a haircut.
Yeah.
So
I'm working on a new hairstyle. That's why I got my hat on.
yeah,
So
you're good. You're
just
good. You're good, bro. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
no,
call
no,
you
no,
out
no.
like that. I'm sorry.
No, I get it, I get it. But yeah, that's a skill I feel like
Yeah.
that people like young black men learn earlier on when they have opportunities like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it probably helps with like hand dexterity for other things too. So
Yeah, yeah. Have you been like doing more have you been doing more shadowing or getting more experience
oh,
within the
absolutely.
field? Okay.
Oh my
You were
God.
doing some this week?
I was, I
Oh wow.
was, I was. I think I've had a lot of fun in med school,
Uh-huh.
and very few things rival the amount of fun I had shadowing.
Okay. So what did you
This week,
shadow? Yeah.
I shadowed in the neurosurgery department here
Nice.
at our school. So neurosurgery is unique in the sense that you're up at the crack of dawn, like before
Mm-hmm.
everything is, and you're already rounding, and you're. So I went into the residence room. Of course, prior to this, being courteous and emailing the people who you need to introduce yourself to, and making
Yeah.
sure there's room for you there
Mm-hmm.
is just like the professional thing to do. So
Mm-hmm.
did that a couple months back, and now I was like, okay, this is when I'm going to shadow. So I came in 5 a.m. They're already
Mm.
there. So I'm like, oh shoot, I feel like I'm late.
Yeah.
But it's 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So you're saying, yeah, but that's 5 a.m., bro.
No, I've
So I'm like,
heard
do these
some
people
3
live here?
a.m.s. Yeah, yeah.
So, but the vibe in the room is just, it's very quiet because there's handoff going on. So the night
Mhm,
team is telling the day team what happened overnight, and then,
mhm.
patient acuity, things like that. So I'm really just there soaking things up, learning. I get a sheet of the list of patients. So I'm trying to keep up, highlighting things that don't make any sense,
Mhm.
writing things that are kind of familiar,
Yeah.
but not really. Just having questions that I will ask to the resident that I'm shadowing just
Right.
when he has a little bit of time to talk to me as we're walking through the hallway or getting breakfast or something. So that was maybe the first hour and a half, and then right after that, there's a spine sort of lecture, or spine case study in a way,
Mhm.
where it's just another like felt like a didactic um, course, but I didn't have the alphabet of what they were talking about.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
was such a different level
Mhm.
that as a first year med student, I felt like I was a kindergartner in a
Mhm.
way. Even though I could understand some of the things that were going on,
Right.
the pace was just unreal. But nonetheless, it's good to understand the gap. It's good to understand like the how much more ground needs to be covered.
Mhm.
Um, and then we're in the OR. So right after that, it's like, okay, we're operating. And I saw two surgeries. I'm
Mm,
not
okay.
gonna really get into any like details just to be, squeaky clean in terms of like patient confidentiality,
Yeah.
but trying to get in the OR as someone who's interested in surgery is key. You
Mhm.
want to see what the vibe is like from the second the patient gets in there. I couldn't help the patient get into the room, but like from the second the patient's actually in the OR,
Mhm.
seeing how everything is so like organized, and like how everyone has their specific roles, and like how the team works in such unison, all to like help this patient feel comfortable and feel like ready to have such a great surgery and have things done that's probably curative. One
Mhm.
was curative, I think, and the other was more like diagnostic, trying to see, okay, what could that be.
Yeah.
um it takes such a team that it's like you have to be a team player to be in the OR. It's
Right.
hard to not be a team player
Yeah.
because at times where I was like in the corner. This was like still the first time I was in the corner. I didn't want to touch anything blue,
Mhm.
um, but like I just felt I couldn't, like my hands were just I need to be doing something.
Yeah.
Everyone else in here is doing something. I felt odd not doing something. So the second case, they were like, "Yeah, jump in," and I was
Mm,
like helping move the patient, and I was doing a bunch of cool stuff.
nice.
So it was really nice. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So there is like a whole coordination of healthcare professionals, just like ensuring that the service that they're providing to the patient is as smooth as possible, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sort of like a like a well-built machine, kind of. I was gonna segue it into something else, but I wanted to stay on topic because neurosurgery is a very long path, right?
Yes, sir.
And regardless of how long the path is, that time is gonna go by anyway.
Hmm.
So you might as well be doing something that you actually enjoy and you like, right?
Yeah.
So we have like a couple more years in med school and then residency. What do you think you're going to be able to do, to kind of revitalize yourself outside of the grueling experience of residency?
For residency, I can't speak on that just yet because I
Yeah.
don't I don't quite know what that's gonna be. But
Hmm.
one of the foundational principles that I'm trying to practice every day is like don't let life pass you by,
Right.
even though we're doing something that's extremely important.
Hmm.
So not using med school as an excuse to allow things, opportunities, people
Yeah.
to pass you by in a way. So that's one of the things I try to like remind myself, even though like sometimes I'm like, yeah, I should rather study, I should rather do this, but like, okay, I've acquired the competency that I feel like I need to pass
Hmm.
and do well on my exam. I've shadowed, I've done my research, I've done my service, I've done it's like there's things that are just like life things that we should be doing,
Yeah.
exercising, cooking, eating, chatting, talking to people, building relationships, and planning for a future with someone in a way.
Yeah.
So those are just like non-negotiables that I think are the centerpiece to not losing that vitality that makes you human.
Right.
So just keeping those things alive.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like you sort of get to a level where you've developed a sense of competency where you sort of already know you're going to pass the exam. It's just
Yeah.
about how high your pass is going to be, right? And so it gives you more breathing room to like sort of enjoy life and enjoy the people around you. So I'm glad you said that. And so within the surgical room, it's sort of like an orchestra, right? And you're so you're an individual who is musically talented, right?
Talented?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You play an instrument.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I don't play an instrument, so you're musically talented.
I got you.
And so, like, t when I was in elementary school, I wanted to play no, when I was in middle school, I wanted to play the keyboard because I felt like
Mhm.
being able to use my hands and have it flow in such a way that just creates beautiful songs. It was something that I always enjoyed, but I never really had the opportunity to. So, how was your experience within music?
I I wanted to jump in to say, talent because I feel like talent is just like
Mhm.
practice over time in a
Right.
way. It's just like unrelenting practice, just spaced out. My dad's a pastor, and from a young age, I was in the choir.
Mhm.
So even before I could start playing, I was just in there absorbing, just by osmosis. I was probably learning, I was seeing, I was watching how to play,
Mhm.
and then one day I found myself behind the keyboard, and I was playing.
Yeah.
I was probably horrible, but I was playing
Right.
nonetheless. And then over time, I would write out the different chords or the different notes, and I
Mhm.
would study it. I would practice it hour after hour, day after day. And then I got to a point where I can listen to something and play.
Nice,
And
nice.
then, it's just like it's a skill that I just now I have a keyboard in my living room. Just like, yeah, whenever I feel like I want to play something, I can just go play.
Mhm.
I'm not classically trained. I never really felt inclined to classic, like, to join a music class. I did do like orchestra for a while. I played the
Okay.
bassoon and the saxophone there. But like the keyboard is really just like where I feel the most expressive when I'm playing. Like that's where I feel like I'm the most expressive. Like everything is every hand, like every finger is doing something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that for me it was definitely like from a young age, just being in the choir and then just kind of getting thrown in.
Okay.
And then I have five other siblings.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know if I mentioned that, but
No, no.
I'm one of five.
Okay.
My older brother plays the guitar. My younger sister, she sings. The younger brother after him, after her, he plays the drums. So I think also coming from a more, I guess, musically inclined family. None of my
Yeah.
parents play instruments, but my
Mhm.
mom sings. I think that also helps a little bit.
Mhm.
So yeah, there was that, competition in a way, like who can play the most amount of instruments
Hmm.
growing up. So competition also feels that like, okay, I need to practice, I need to get better.
Hmm.
But also just enjoying it as you're doing it growing up.
Nice. So what's your go-to song or keys to play when you're trying to impress someone who's coming into your space?
Right now, there's this really fun jazz scale that I'm learning,
Hmm.
and it just allows for improvisation. It allows for just like free flowing, just especially when you can like spam a chord, just like you just run
Yeah.
through. That's I feel like it's pretty good enough to impress, but also it allows just for expression.
Hmm.
So it's just like I think it's a C, some jazz scale on C, and then you can put a track behind it or
Hmm.
a bass guitar and just have fun with it.
Yeah, that's actually really nice. I think down the line in the future, I probably will get back into playing because when I was younger, I used to play clarinet, right? But I quit because I felt like the class was going too slow, and I just didn't have time to like. I felt like maybe I should have stuck to it,
Hmm.
but the younger version of me, kind of impatient. If things were moving a little too slow, I would just feel like I'm wasting my time.
I
So I
feel
did
you
end
on
up
that.
dropping it. But getting back into music and playing the keyboard or playing something, because in the student lounge they have that piano, and I feel
Yeah,
like that's a great opportunity for me to learn and then
it's
practice.
definitely there. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Is there another instrument that you've always wanted to play?
I've always wanted to, and right now I have a cello also in my
Oh,
room.
okay.
Um, I'm I'm an abysmal cello player, if I can say that, because it's self-taught. I'm trying to learn how to play it by myself,
Mhm.
and it's one of those things where it's like friction is such a it friction just derails progress in a way.
Mhm.
Because I would take like a week off, and the progress I gained in
Yeah,
those like 3 days of practice, I'm all over again. Like my hand position is just off.
yeah.
So it's definitely the cello because I feel like cello players are like just sick,
Mhm.
and then also the guitar. I can play some chords, but like I want to be able to freestyle on the guitar. I think that would be also pretty nice. Um, but yeah, right now just kind of stick to the keyboard and the cello for the meantime.
Okay. All right, so now we're gonna move on to a segment. I played this before with Pratik. So the
Okay.
segment is drug or candy. So we're gonna look at two images and try to figure
What's
out.
going on? Wait.
We're gonna
Wait a
we're
minute. Wait a
looking at
minute.
pills versus candy.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you need to get something?
No, I'm
Oh
not
no.
quite
Okay.
sure
No. No.
anymore.
Okay.
It's all right.
So we're looking at pills versus candy, and we're gonna try to decide if you can identify using your medical brain.
Which is a pill and
Yeah.
which is can't? Do I need to know? Do I need to
You don't
identify
have to
what the
know the
candy is?
name. No, you don't have to know any names, but you have to be able to identify which one is a pill and which one is a candy. Okay.
All right, I'll do my best.
All right. All right. So I'm giving you this image here.
They're
So this is
both
where
the
you're
same
working with.
thing.
Yes, one of them is a pill and one of them is a candy.
Wait, like one of this is all pills, or this is all pills, or
Yeah.
this?
So
Whoa,
this could be all pills or this could be all pills, all candy or all candy. So which one?
I feel like this is quite the start because these all look like gummy bears.
Right, but you got to decide.
Okay, I'm gonna decide that the right is gummy bears
Okay.
and the left are pills
So why?
because there's a difference in length, and I think I remember gummy bears looking a little longer than that, and the
Oh,
one
okay,
on the
okay.
left looks more like pillish. They wouldn't make the pills that big for people. I'm thinking, am I right?
Let's take a look. Yeah, you were right.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so like a part of it is that we have to have an eye for things, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes patients could get confused with certain information or not knowing what they're going to consume, and we have to be able to, figure out these pieces of information very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Things within the healthcare system moves pretty fast, and
Yeah.
having an eye like that,
I don't know if this is like the reason I chose it was a good enough reason, but I remember gummy bears or gummy candy looking a little more like that. So
Yeah.
okay, one for one. Let's
Okay.
go.
All right. Let's move on to the next one. Let me slide that over. Let me slide this out. Okay. All right. Next one.
Pills or okay, this one feels like too obvious,
Yeah.
but that could be a trap. But instinctually, the left is more of a candy, the right is
Okay.
a pill.
Okay.
So that's the instinct. I don't see any reason to not go with that instinct. So
Right.
I'll
Okay.
stick with
So
that.
you said it was obvious. So what kind of candy would it be then?
This looks like one of those. I don't remember the name, but it comes in a pack
Yeah.
of them stacked like
Like
that.
Smarties or
Yeah,
like yeah.
Smarties.
Yeah,
Exactly. I
yeah.
think those look more like Smarties. And
Okay.
also, I think it's excessive,
Mhm.
like to make a candy with this like amount of design or
Yeah.
this specific. This seems like a very specific design
Yeah.
that's an identifier for this pill.
Right.
Like if you told a pharmacologist or a pharmacology student, they might be able to just tell the pill just
Yeah, yeah,
if I
definitely.
described what I'm seeing. So
Yeah. I feel like that's what they probably do. A pharmacy student would
yeah,
probably be able to identify that right
yeah,
away.
yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Two
Sweet
for
and sour.
two.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Let's try this one.
There's a lot more going on here. There is a lot more going on here. Huh.
So you could think maybe this one is a little bit more colorful, so it could be candy, or that's probably like trying to play
Mm.
you, or this could be blueberry or something like that.
No, no. I think if let's use the logic that like eat the rainbow is
Yeah.
more like an advert for kids. Like I don't think they would make pills unnecessarily colorful like that.
Right.
But yeah, left pills, right candy.
Yeah. I think this is s- um, dang, what is that thing called? It's in those square boxes, probably. I forget.
Dots?
No, 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 no. It's
Nerds.
yes, yeah,
Nerds,
yeah.
nerds,
Let's see.
nerds. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Rat poison.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
We were just comparing rat poison to nerds.
I
Okay,
mean,
interesting.
all right. Let's do two more.
All right. This is a little bit more. This is a bit more challenging,
Right.
but like, yeah, pill to the left, candy to the right. The right look a lot more like Smarties. The
Yeah.
left is granular in a way. It's more like pillish looking.
Yeah. It might be in like an antacid or something like that.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Last one.
Hey, I mean, I have to say, we're like four for four right now.
Yeah.
Nice. Hope we didn't celebrate too early. Oh yeah, the left is a candy, the right's a pill.
Right.
I think that those are like some type of bean candy, like
Yeah.
green bean candy, something like that.
Like jelly beans, but like
Jelly
the
beans,
lemon
jelly
flavor. Yeah.
beans. Nice.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Coated acetaminophen. So
Wow.
don't mix up your jelly beans with the coated acetaminophen
You know,
pills.
the thing is, probably people have had that experience before,
Hmm.
and so it's unfortunate where some patients, you know, even in the dark, they'll grab something thinking
Yeah,
that it's like some type of sweet, but then it turns out to be a pill.
that's
So that's
unfortunate.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. All right. You are Mr. Musically Inclined.
Oh my god. We went 5 for 5 on the candy, so I'm gonna take that win, and then
Yeah. All
we'll
right.
go into
So,
this. Can I not look or
um, no, because I mean, you can. I think they won't show it until after.
okay?
Let's see. Okay. So these are very popular songs, but for me, I might not even know the names, but you may have heard them before.
Okay.
All right, let's just put this up. Um, okay, hold up. Make sure I'm not. It's in 1 second.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So we're gonna see the next one.
Okay.
But you've heard this song before?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was it.
Yeah.
No way. I can't. No idea. What? Dynamite. Okay.
All right, let's try another. You you've heard that one before?
No, wait. I'm
That is
sorry.
a
This is
very
going
popular
way
one.
too fast.
It's 1 second.
What?
You have to do it in 1 second.
Wait.
That's
Has
a
anyone
very
done this
popular.
before?
Yeah, Talia, she was very good.
She was
did.
what? Okay. What?
She was really good.
Wait, Talia is a professional musician, so
Yeah, she knew the names of artists and songs. I had no idea, but I've
okay.
heard the songs
All
before.
right. Let me lock in. All right.
All right, so we're gonna. This is a very popular song, but we're gonna.
Okay. I don't know what this was, by the way.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, I know what that is, but I
Wait.
paused it. So I'm
No,
not
no, no,
actually
no.
doing it
Yeah,
in
that's
time.
fine. That's fine.
Shoot, now I
It's
lost
gonna
it.
play it again. Go.
Okay. Is it a Beyonce song? No.
I would look bad being black not knowing Beyonce songs. I
Okay.
cannot confirm.
All right. I'm gonna say I'll lock in Beyonce.
Okay. Oh my god.
Don't say that. Don't say that out loud. Please, let's just move on. Let's move on. I'm sorry.
That was not Beyonce.
It is not.
Okay, I've heard the song.
No, not
This is
Beyonce.
it was freaking back in 2016 maybe.
What the hell? I just said Beyonce. Yo. I know this song,
Yeah.
but like I don't know
Yeah.
Rude and Magic.
This is all right, this is a classic.
Yo, 1 second is tough. Because it requires like you to know everything leading up to it and
Yeah.
after.
Sometimes that's the patient scenario. You just come in the middle and you don't know.
No, I'm not making decisions on incomplete information or like this level of incomplete information though.
But this one is very classic. Like I even know this.
All right, any hints?
Damn. I think Ryan Seacrest. Ryan Seacrest? That's the.
So you know that name doesn't even ring a bell.
Oh, okay.
I think that's is that cultural disconnect in a way.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was Backstreet Boys.
Mm.
That's the only song of theirs that I know. Yeah.
Like,
Wait,
I
was that
know
Ryan
the
Seacrest?
song. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Billie Eilish. Some by
Yeah.
Billie Eilish.
Yeah, it's a Billie Eilish
Definitely
song.
know Billie Eilish song. All right, we have one.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go for one more. But yeah, 1 second is crazy.
Justin Timberlake?
Honestly, I have no idea.
No.
Oh, wow.
Walk the Man.
I've literally heard that song
Wait,
before.
this is such a good song too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it before. But yeah, it just goes to show like 1 second. That's like very quick.
It's no time whatsoever. Yeah.
But sometimes patients, you have a limited amount of time to figure out the entire story.
Yeah. You have to be innovative.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think that's where having an expansive amount of medical knowledge comes to play.
Yeah.
So that you can put together the pieces that the patients can't, you know?
Absolutely.
So any future endeavors that you have on the horizon?
Well, the future right now, I'm looking towards this evening. I have a nice date planned.
Oh, nice.
We're leading into the season of love.
Yes.
I was gonna ask, you have things on the horizon as well in that theme?
No.
It's no.
No, nothing on the horizon in that theme.
I got you.
Yeah. But I'm not mad about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Not upset about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of just like short term things, just planning for the weekend, and then next week we're back in the the more didactic, just like
Yeah.
content grind in a way. But aside from that, just looking forward to some trips,
Yeah.
some summer plans,
Mhm.
and yeah, just spending some time with some friends. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Summer, I'm trying to lock that down too because I think I might stay in Albany to continue doing more of this and making like my goal is that by graduation I'll have two options to choose and I'll choose both.
Mhm.
But yeah, I want to be able to build this as far and wide as possible that I can. And then, doing some research, connecting with anesthesia
Nice.
or PM&R, doing stuff like that. And yeah, continuing to build myself up as a professional.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I mean, definitely kudos to you for this because this is as professional as it gets,
Yeah.
honestly. Wish you guys could see like the setup, but this is extremely professional, and um, I know you're saying like you're waiting for 4 years to like make a decision, but I feel like even now you are so far along that a lot of people never even get to this stage. So
Yeah, that is
kudos
true.
to you for that, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. All right, so now we're gonna close off. This was Casual Conversations with Lawrence, and I had an amazing guest.
Damilare Atiba, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here.
Appreciate it. All right.
Thank you.
Yes.